Hello soulmates, welcome back to Bimsy Styling YouTube channel. In today's class, we are going to learn how to draft and cut this beautiful transparent overbust corset that we see here. And this inspiration was gotten from Precious Apparel. And as you can see the picture on the left, that is from Precious, and the one in the middle, that is the video on the middle, is the recreation which I made, and you can see exactly what it looks like on me. And I also have the video on the right that was taken immediately after I was done sewing this transparent corset. So that is what we have on the right. So right here, I am going to be taking you through the drafting process and cutting as well. And in another video, I'm going to be taking you through how to sew this easily and neatly. If this is something you would like to learn, kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. And don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, guys. Subscribe to my channel, like this video, and also share with your friends. This is the only way you can encourage me to do more, by supporting my channel. So guys, let's get started. So right here on the table, I have the materials which I'll be using for this transparent corset. And the first fabric here is a crepe fabric, so I'll be making use of this nude color crepe fabric, and this is exactly what I'll use. You can make use of any fabric of your choice. And then the next one here is my corset mesh, also in nude color. So, and I have the two, that is the skin net, which I'll be using as well. So these are the three main fabrics which I'll be making use of. So guys, as you can see, I have all my lines marked on my pattern paper. So I have the chest line, I have the bust point, the under bust, and then I have the half length for the front. I have the corset blouse length and also the hip line. So if you are familiar with my corset tutorial here on my channel, you will know how we got the corset blouse length. So the next thing I'll be taking now is my shoulder, and I'll be taking that on both the chest line and also at the top of my pattern paper, which also serves as my shoulder line. So I'll connect the 2 points together. So guys, I've gone ahead to take my shoulder slope, and also here I am taking the armhole. So I'm shaping my armhole here. This tutorial is actually for advanced students, so I'm sure we all know how I went about shaping the armhole. So the next thing I'll be doing is to take my bust span measurement divided by 2. I'll be taking that on the bust point, and then I'll also take the same measurements on the half length, because I'll be extending this measurement from the bust point to my hip line. So I'll connect the points together. So I actually stopped this line on my blouse length. So for the dart intake, I'll be taking 1 inch to the left, that's towards the center front, and 1.5 inches towards the side front. So this is exactly what I did there. And now I'll connect from the under bust to the bust point using my curved ruler. So as an advanced student, I'm sure we all know how to go about the underbust tightening. So whatever value you use for your underbust, you can also make use of it at that point. So on the blouse length, I took 1.25 inches, and then I'll be connecting with my ruler like so. So I'm trying to create a slanted star line, and then I will go to the underbust and measure what I have there and extend that same measurement on the blouse length. So I have 2.5 inches as the underbust tightening, so I took 2.5 inches as well on the blouse length, and then connected the 2 points together just the way you see there. So right there on the half length, I would take 0.25 inches, I'll come out by 0.25 inches, and then I'll place the curve ruler just like so, and I'll be connecting from the underbust to the 0.25 inches. So here I'll be making use of my marker pen, because this is the line which I'll be cutting through. And then from that 0.25 inches as well, I will extend using a slight curve, not too curvy. I will extend it to the blouse length like so. So you can see what I have there. So now on the half length as well, on the other dart leg, I came in by 0.25 inches. And then on the blouse length, I will go out by 0.25 inches. I'll take that again. On the half length, I came in by 0.25 inches, and then on the blouse length, that is the corset blouse length, I came out by 0.25 inches. So now from the 0.25 inches on the blouse length, I'll connect to the 0.25 inches on the half length, and then I'll take it through to the underbust. So as you can see, I've connected the 3 points together, and I have my curve like so. So this is the star line I'll be working with for this transparent overbust corset. So right here, I am cleaning the pencil that we have there so that we don't get confused. So that was just a guide for us. So the next thing I would do is to take the waist divided by 4 and mark it. I'll also replace the dot that we have there and also mark it there. So after doing that, I will snatch the waist by 1 inch. That is what I just marked. And from the snatched waist right there, I would connect from the snatched waist to the bust measurement on the chest line. So I'll connect the 2 points together like so. So the next thing I'll do is to take my bust dart, and my bust dart here is 2 inches. So I came down from the bust point by 2 inches, and then I'll connect from that 2 inches marking to the bust span that we have there. So I'll connect the 2 points like so. So now to get the overbust line, I came up from the chest line by 2.5 inches. So this is not a standard. 2.5 inches is not a standard. The reason why I am using 2.5 inches is just because of what I want to achieve for the neckline. And this is because I want that bust area covered. So you can actually make use of 2 inches or 1.5 inches for your overbust to get your overbust line. So right here now, I have the overbust line, and what I'll be doing is to take my bust span measurement divided by 2 again on that line, and then I'll connect it back to the bust point. So I have a straight line there. Now for the overbust tightening, I'll be taking a 0.75 inches on both sides. So that makes it 1.5 inches for the tightening of the overbust. And then I'll be connecting it from the overbust to the bust point using the curved part, not so curvy, just slightly curved. So I'll be connecting the 2 points together on both sides of the pattern paper. So guys, the next thing I'll be doing is to shape the neckline for the corset. And here I was trying to place my curve ruler to see exactly the way the neckline will sit. So finally I came up from the chest line by 1 inch, and then I placed my curved ruler like so. Because I want the other hand towards the armhole pointed, so this is why I placed my curved ruler like so. But if you don't want yours that pointed, just find the convenient part of the curved ruler which will give you the suitable neckline which you want. So the neckline depends on you, how you want to go about styling the neckline. So for me, I'll be making use of this, and then I connected from that 1 inch marking to the armhole. So I made use of the mid armhole there, and from that mid armhole, that is from the armhole we have, I came in by half an inch, and then from that half an inch, I also came up by half an inch on the chest line. So the reason for coming up by half an inch on the chest line is so that my armhole is not opened, because this transparent corset is actually a tube kind of corset. So for my armhole not to be exposed, I came up by half an inch on the chest line, and then on the neck region I came in by half an inch around the armhole. So from that point I'll connect it now. From that point, I'll connect it now to the darts that we have on the overbust. But to do this, I need to through my dart. That is, I'll be placing one dart leg on the other dart leg so that I don't have any form of shortage on that part when I eventually cut out my pattern and then I want to sew my fabric. So to balance this, I needed to fold the one dart leg on the other dart leg, and then I'll follow through the initial curve that we created on the neckline, and then I'll place my curve ruler like so, and I'll connect from the armhole into the center front. That is, I'll follow through that same curve that we initially created, but this time the two dart leg must align. So as you can see, I've done that. So I'll open it up now to show you what we have on that part. So now this is we'll be following through the marker pen when we are cutting out the neckline. Now the next thing I'll do is to close up the bust dart. So I'll be folding in my darts like so, and I'll hold it down with my paper tape. Now I can draw the permanent line for the side. So I'll go ahead now to connect from the ½ inch which we went up on the chest line. I'll connect it into the snatched waist on the half length. So this is it. So now I'll go ahead to shape the hip. So I had to open up the bust point which we initially held down with the paper tape. So on the hip line, I'll take the hip divided by 4 and then mark it. And whatever I have as the dart intake also there, that is 2.5 inches, will be replaced on the side like so. Now I'll connect with my curved ruler using the pencil. I'll connect from the hip to the waist. So from my blouse length, I came up by 1 inch, and then from that 1 inch mark, I'll also go out by 0.5 or 0.25. Now from that point, I would use my marker pen and then connect to the waist like so. So we have the sides marked. So for the M, I'll also give it the shape which I want. So at this point, you can just decide on the kind of M line you want to create for yours. So it's up to you to decide. So I went ahead to just give this curved shaping at the hem. So after doing that, I can then close up my bust dart permanently. So I'll close it up permanently and then we'll cut out this pattern. So guys, at this point you are done with the front. Go ahead and cut out the patterns and label your patterns as well. So follow through the exact markings that we have there. And then also note that when you are cutting out the armhole, ensure that you cut on the ½ inch you came up from the chest line. So this is what I have for the front after I was done cutting. Now, I want you to note that this transparent overbust corset has an inner that gives it even more structure, and that is why you see the transparent overbust corset sitting very well on the body. So to have that effect, you need to create a bustier as the inner for the transparent overbust corset. And to do this, I've gone ahead to place another plain pattern paper underneath the one we initially cut, and I've also secured the pattern and the plain paper together with my pins. So the next thing I'll be doing is to trace out starting from the underbust. I'll repeat that, starting from the underbust, that is where I'll be tracing. So guys, I will trace out every part of this um corset pattern that we initially drafted, starting from the underbust. I'll follow through the curves like so. You can see what I did there. I'll repeat the same thing that I did on the center front. I'll repeat it on the side. I'll trace starting from the underbust. I'll trace out the dart intake that we have going towards the bust point and also to the overbust part. And then I will extend it as well to the neckline. You can see that. And also I will trace out the side front just like so. And also finally I'll be tracing the armhole as well. So after doing this, I'll cut out this pattern. So for the sake of those who doesn't have a tracing wheel, you can just go through this process like this. You can see how I'm cutting it. So I'll cut it out following through the exact way we actually traced out. You can see I'll cut it through like so, and then I'll be taking it through upward. So if you don't have a tracing wheel to do what I just did, you can also use this method. So I'll fold in my pattern paper like so and then cut it out from the underbust. So I'll repeat the same thing for the side and then I'll show you guys what I have. So guys, I'm done cutting and you can see the plain paper that we have underneath for the side. I'll also take out the pin for the one for the center front and then you can see it. So it's not a problem if you don't have a tracing wheel, just follow through the cutting process which I did. So this plain paper will serve as the bustier and the inner for this transparent corset. So here I have folded my crepe fabric which I'll be using for the inner, and then I'll go ahead to cut it out using the plain pattern paper we just traced out. You can see I added half inch to that part, and I also added half inch to the upper part. So this is it. So I'll be cutting two of these. It will serve as both the main fabric and also the lining. So guys, I want you to note this. On the inner, this which I'm just about to cut, on the side front I added 0.75 inches as the seam allowance for the side. And for every other part, I'll be adding half inch. So right now I'm cutting out the side on a 0.75 inches. So for every other part, like I said, I'll be adding 0.5. So for the armhole is 0.5, for the neck is 0.5, for the hemline is 0.5. Just the side alone is where I added 0.75. And the reason for adding the 0.75, for the skin net which will be coming on top of this bustier, which is the inner, I'll be using a 0.5 as the seam allowance on the side, and the skin net is actually going to sit on this inner. So the 0.5 on the side of the skin net is still going to sit well on this particular inner because the skin net has every tendency to stretch. So it will sit well despite the differences. That is the 0.25. It's actually small, but because the skin net is coming on top of this, so I needed to add that little allowance to it so that it can sit properly. So the next thing I did was to cut out my wording for the bustier, that is the inner. I cut out the wording, and the wording which I'm using here is the soft wording. That is the softest. I made use of the very soft wording. So I went ahead to cut out my wording for both parts, as you can see. So aside the wording, I would also be making use of stay. So I would also interface this fabric with my stay. So aside the soft wording, I also place my stay on this. So guys, let's go and draft our back pattern. So right here, I have the pattern for the back, and I've gone ahead to take every line that we needed for the back. So as usual, we have the chest line for the back, we have the half length for the back, and then the hip line. So at this point, I have not taken the corset blouse length. So I'll be doing that right away. So for the sake of those that do not know how we came about the corset blouse length, all you need to do is to come down from your half length by 5 inches, 4 inches, or 6 inches. It all depends on the height of the person you are working with. But in this case, I made use of 5 inches, and sometimes I do 6 inches. So like I said, it all depends on the height of the person you are working with and also on the kind of design you are trying to achieve. So right there, I have the corset blouse length for the back. So the next thing I will do is to take the waist measurement divided by 4, and then I will take that on the half length and mark. So for this particular corset, I did not snatch anything out of the back waist because the intention is for the corset to be comfortable, not to kill yourself. So for the front, I snatched 1 inch, and for the back, I did not take anything out of the back measurement. So all I did was to take my exact waist measurement on the back. That is the waist divided by 4 was taken on the back. So in total for this particular corset, this transparent overbust corset, I only snatched out 2 inches in total. That is 1 inch on the side when on fold. That is for the front. So right here, I have gone ahead to mark my hip measurement divided by 4 on the hip line, and then I've connected it to the waist like so. So guys, don't forget that we came up by half an inch on the chest line. So we need to do the same thing for the back. So if you actually did the half an inch on the chest line, if you came up by half an inch, just ensure that you repeat the same thing for the back. So right here, I'll connect it like so to the half an inch, which I came up for the back pattern as well. So I'll be connecting it now from that point. I'll blend it into the back armhole. But in case you did not come up by half an inch on the front, Please do well to leave your pattern just the way it is. So it's because I came up by half an inch, and it is important you come up by half an inch because so that you don't have the armhole too opened. So right now from that half an inch mark, so from the half an inch mark, what I did here was to connect to the center back. So I didn't know that my camera didn't cover that part very well. So, but you can see that I connected it from the half an inch to the chest line, the original chest line that we have there. So I connected it to that point. And for the back opening, I did 1.5 inches on the chest line and 0.5 inches on the hip line. So sorry guys that the camera did not get to that point. So what I did is just what I mentioned here. 0.5 inches on the hip line and 1.5 inches on the chest line. So I'll go ahead and highlight this part as well. So guys, if you are familiar with my corset pattern here on YouTube, you will know that for the back pattern, I usually draft my back as a dartless pattern. So this part is where the highlights will be. So the next thing I will do is to shape the side, and to do that from the corset blouse length, I came up by 1 inch and I'll also go out by 0.5 inches. That's exactly what we did on the front pattern. So with my curved ruler, I will now connect from the waist to the 0.5 inches that we actually came out at that point. So from that point, I'll go ahead and create the M line for the back. So I'll shape it out just the same way I want it to look like. So at this point, you determine what you want for the M line. So you can give whatever shape you are working with. Just go ahead and create that part. So this is what we have for the back. So now guys, it is ready. The back pattern is ready. I'll go ahead now and cut it out. Okay guys, so this is what we have after cutting out the back. This is what my back looks like, and this is what we have for the front. So I usually do this. All I need to do is to place the side back and the side front together and check if they match. So that is what I just did. And so this is the inner that we are also traced out. You can see it labeled already, the side front and the center front. So guys, if you have watched this tutorial to this point and you have gotten value watching today's tutorial, do well to hit on the subscribe button down below, and please guys, give this video a thumbs up so that YouTube can keep pushing out this content to those who might need this content. And guys, also remember to share with your friends, your soulmates, your friends that also needs this tutorial. So we are heading to the cutting of our fabric, and the first fabric I'll be cutting out is the corset mesh. So for the corset mesh, I'll be making use of just one layer of the corset mesh. And for those who might want to ask how many yards I made use of to create this transparent corset, I used just half yard of the corset mesh. Though I got more than that from the market, but for this project, I used half yard. So you can also get half yard from the market, or if you can get more than that. That is to recreate this particular transparent corset. So for the cutout, all I did was to add half an inch as the sewing allowance to all the parts of this fabric. So as you can see, I am just maintaining half an inch for my cutout. So all you need to do is to carefully do this because you need to take your time to do this. So if you cannot actually use your high gauge just the way I am doing, please ensure that you make use of your tape rule to take that half-inch measurement on your fabric. For those who can use their high, you can also use your high gauge to actually get the half-inch and then cut it out. So guys, I'll go ahead and cut this out. Like I said, every part of this corset mesh has half an inch as the seam allowance. So after cutting my front pattern on the corset mesh, this is what we have. So guys, you will see that on the side front, which I talked about, I added just half inch on the corset mesh as well. So this is it. And then for the center back where the eyelet would be, I did not have any allowance. So take note of that. So the next thing I'll be cutting now is my skin net, and then I'll be placing this on fold. So the reason for placing it on fold is because I'll be cutting 3 layers each for all the pattern paper. I'll be cutting 3 layer each. That is for the skin net. I'll be cutting 3 layer each. You can do more than 3, you can do 4. So at this point, I already cut out my skin net, and then this is the patterns. You see the skin net underneath, and this is the front pattern, the center front and the side front. I also cut this out, the skin net, on the back pattern. So I didn't bring this here, but I also cut the skin net, 3 layers of it on the back pattern. You can see it here. So right now I'll go ahead and arrange this skin net on the corset mesh. So you can see what I'm doing here. So arrange your skin net carefully on the corset mesh. So I'll be doing this. I'll take my time to do this and show you what I have after doing all of that. So like I said, 3 layers of this skin net is what I'll be placing on the corset mesh, so that this tutorial doesn't extend so long. We're already on 25 minutes or thereabouts, and we still have the sewing part. So I'll just show you the final result after placing my skin net on the corset mesh. So guys, this is what we have after I placed the 3 layers of the skin net on my corset mesh, and this is what the front looks like. Isn't it beautiful? Thank you all for watching today's tutorial. I will see you all in the sewing part of this tutorial. So guys, don't miss the sewing tutorial coming up next on the channel. Bye.